Do you want to know how to deal with a disrespectful teen? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and good communication, as well as how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about disrespect and teens. Nobody likes to feel disrespected by their teens, and I know our society is really concerned about the lack of respect among the teen culture right now. So what can we do about it? In this video, we're going to be talking about disrespect, why that seems to be happening, and then what we can do to discipline disrespectful teens. So why are we having a problem with disrespect right now? Well, we could debate that for quite some time. Obviously, there's the media view of what's respectful. There's family relationships and dynamics in families that are struggling across the board. People are distracted, they're busy, they're getting more self-focused all the time. This is not just the teens, but sometimes even the parents are starting to focus more on self. But one of the biggest things that is happening is we're not discussing roles anymore. What are the roles in the family? What are the roles of parents versus the roles of children? Those roles have been confused in recent generations, and that has created a significant problem related to respect. So what does it mean to respect a person? When you respect someone, that means you revere them, you regard them, you even reverence them. So that would mean that as a parent, if you respected your child and you understood that their role was to be a learner, that you would then teach them things in order to respect them and reverence them. You wouldn't leave them in a state of ignorance, you wouldn't abandon them, you wouldn't just let them do their own thing all the time. You would make sure that you were connected to them in the way that your role and their role required. So what is your role then? Well, the role of parent loosely is to be a teacher. Obviously, roles of mother, roles of father are slightly different. And by the way, roles are different than responsibilities. Anybody can make dinner, fold laundry, mow a lawn, and go to work. Those are just things that we do, but who we are to each other and how we connect on a deeper level than just what things that we do for each other actually matters. So years ago, I wrote this book, Parenting a House United, and in it I talk about how to set up an environment where families can learn self-government. That means parents and children included. I assumed everyone understood family roles, but actually what I found was that people do not understand family roles anymore. In fact, a lot of people are kind of just out for themselves. They want their children to, take care of things themselves, be entertained so that they can get their things done, do their exercise, those types of things. And sometimes the children are not helping, they're not respecting their parents, and this is a sign that there is a roles problem. So I had to write this book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success. And I'm going to tell you something. This book right here would be a life-changing, eye-opening book for you to read and then follow through with the conversations that the parents in this story have with their children, or to read this story with your teens and then discuss it and discuss the relationships. What you see is this family, their last name's the Justice family, and they do not want to help each other out that much. Husband and wife are not on the same page. The children are being selfish. They're engaged in a lot more media than they should be, and they're complaining. They're not getting along with each other as siblings very well, and just the whole parent-child dynamic is very frustrated, so that everybody seems to be in a battle zone all the time. So then they figure out how to set their roles straight and everything shifts, and you see how they go about that shift. It's super eye-opening. So when we're talking about disrespectful teens, we're actually talking about teens who don't understand who you are in their lives. They know that they have to do what you say sometimes, and they get money from you and you take them places, and maybe that you care about them, but they don't really understand the role of mother, the role of father. The other thing they don't understand is the role of themselves as a teen in their family. What does that mean for them? So starting there is a great place to start when developing a mindset of respect within the family. So once you've developed a vision of who you are, then you're going to want to discuss where you're going as a group. What do we want to become as a family? How do we want it to feel when you're older, when you're an adult? Try to get a long view and then back it up and create that short view. So I talk about, in my book, Parenting a House United, we talk about creating a family vision. It's a powerful concept. It gets everybody on the same page and really explains a good reason why people should care at all about controlling themselves and about improving those relationships. So if you've already subscribed to this channel, then you know that I talk a lot about skills. Well, this is the time where I'm going to start talking about skills with you. If we want to nurture respect in our relationships, we need to have a plan for how we're going to communicate and how we're going to solve our problems. So in the teaching self-government form of parenting, there are 4 basic skills for communication. These are adult skills and all ages can use them. They may sound kind of basic. You may think your teen knows them, but if you're having a hard time getting along and if they're not respecting you or following through with your instructions that you give them to do their chores or responsibilities, then you know you probably are still needing to utilize or teach those 4 basic adult skills that everybody needs. So when youth would come to my home, when I did foster care, I did therapeutic treatment care for troubled teens for a lot of years. And when they would come to my home, these were the first 4 things that we would teach them. And of course, my own children, as soon as they were little and could say the word okay, we started teaching them the 4 basic skills. So what are the 4 basic skills? They are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Let's just take a look at those 4 basic skills. Each one of the 4 basic skills has a skill set attached to it. So that means there's certain steps that are associated with each skill. For instance, to accept a no answer. So let's say you say to your child, no, you can't have your phone anymore, or you can't have your phone after 8 p.m. at night, or some other boundary that you're putting in place to keep your teen safe. Then they would look at the person or the situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say, okay, or ask to disagree appropriately, which is using one of their other skills, and then they would drop the subject. So that means that they would put the phone in the charging station or hand it to you, and they would stay calm and drop the subject, meaning they wouldn't think about it again, they wouldn't talk about it again, they wouldn't whine about it again. They would just say okay and be okay. So that's just one of our skills of self-government, but you could see how that would really help keep the roles straight. If a parent says no and the child accepts the no, then that keeps the roles in the right place. That maintains respect. If a parent gives instruction and the child follows instructions, which is the number 1 of the 4 basic skills, if your child won't follow your instructions, you can't parent them. It frustrates the relationships completely. But if the child does follow your instructions, then that maintains the roles. It also makes it possible that the family feels comfortable working together, and you can spend a lot more time talking about other things besides just behavior. So what about accepting consequences? If you have a role as teacher in your family, because that's what parents are, they're teachers in their family, then what does that mean? That means you need to be able to give feedback, which means you need to be able to give corrections sometimes. So if you're able to correct your children and they accept those corrections, then again, that establishes and maintains your roles, which will then hold up the feeling of respect in the family. And what about that disagreeing appropriately? Disagreeing appropriately is a great skill for them. In fact, I call it the gateway skill to self-government because it is the skill that helps the person see that if I talk about things in a productive, appropriate way, that's always going to be better than trying to manipulate a situation with my emotions. When a person disagrees appropriately, they're able to discuss with another person, understand the other person during the discussion, maintain complete calmness, and even if they don't get their way at the end, drop the subject. Being able to drop the subject is a sign that you respect the other person and that you know you don't have to think the same way as them every single time. Another thing that you can do to help the respect in your relationships is have regular meetings. So in my TSG parenting course, which you can find at teachingselfgovernment.com, I talk about how to have regular family meetings and how to make them productive so everyone gets buy-in into the family. But not only that, how to have regular, weekly parent-mentor meetings with the children so that the parent and child get the opportunity to create goals and plans for how to handle problem behaviors, but also to accomplish the developmental needs of that teen. When the teen sees the parents buy into the family at that level and help them with their pursuits and the things that are important to them, that really instills this feeling of support and working together. It creates respect. Also, when the teen gets the opportunity to come up with decisions for behavioral problems that they need to be working on, that teen also ends up respecting the family a whole lot more because now they have a say. It's hard to respect something that's just done to you, but if it's about your self-government and you have an involvement in it, then you actually start to respect the environment a whole lot more. So maybe things are too passive or things are too aggressive for your teen, and that's making them rebel or just not take life very seriously and take enough responsibility. When a person is going to get to a place of respect, they have to choose it, which means you've got to set up the environment where everyone sees that choosing respect is the right thing. If you've enjoyed this video, I know you'll love my next video, which goes into great detail about how to help your children learn all of the skills and principles of self-government, and it is called The Not-So-Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video now. I'll see you there.